A dream without a goal is just a wish. A goal without a plan is just a dream. And a plan without a dream is just a task. But a dream with goals and a plan is your ticket to the best year of your life. And this is why in today's video, I will show you how to do the probably most important task that you will do in 2022, which will be the foundation of your success. And that is high-level thinking, high-level planning, and high-level goal setting. Because once you have a great plan and once the high-level thinking is done, all you need to do is to execute your plan, maybe modify it along the way, and you're set for the rest of the year. And yes or no, many people have New Year's resolutions, and almost everyone sets goals for the new year, but almost no one does it properly and strategically. And when I talk about high-level thinking, planning, and goal setting as a high-performance coach, I mean to, one, get a clear picture of what you actually desire and the outcome that you want to create in every area of your life. So for your work, health, fitness, relationships, etc. Then two, it's about becoming aware of what values are important to you. So that means by what principles do you want to live your life? Then three, how you can work backwards from your 2022 goal to set milestone goals for the months, weeks, and days to come so that you know what to work on today. Then four, finally, high-level planning also means to develop a personal self-improvement plan so that you become the person that you want to be and that you need to be to pull off your most ambitious goals. And once again, personally, I've actually just mapped out my 2022, and I know that all I need to do now is to execute my strategy to be successful in my business, dementia research, in the gym, etc. And what I will show you today is also an assignment that I've given all of my one-to-one high-performance clients. And honestly, you cannot expect to produce good results if you hope that things work out well. You need a good plan. And that's why I will now share with you what to do step by step to strategize your perfect 2022. So lean back, relax, watch the entire video to understand what to do and why you do it. And then most importantly, do it yourself. Do this exercise yourself to ensure your success. And as always, I would appreciate if you could smash those like and subscribe buttons down there real quick so that we can build an army of high performance and neuroscience enthusiasts together. That said, my name is Nicholas. I'm a neuroscientist, dementia researcher, as well as a high performance and flow coach. And this is how to strategize and set great goals for your ultimate success in 2022. So first and foremost, let me give you some basic ground rules that you should follow for this exercise, because what we will do now is some high-level thinking, and ideally you are prepared for that. So first and foremost, make sure that you're well rested and non-stressed. And the reason for doing that is that you want to have low levels of stress hormones, because stress hormones like adrenaline, they actually block divergent thinking. In other words, when you are stressed, you probably know it, then your focus narrows down. But on the other hand, what we want to for that, specifically for this exercise, is broad thinking. We want to be creative. So in order to do so, once again, be non-stressed, be well rested. So ideally do it on the weekend. Also make sure that you reserve 1 to 2 hours to do the exercise, undisturbed ideally. And I want you to schedule it in your calendar. Because as I like to say, if it's not scheduled, then it won't be done. So make sure to put it down, set a time, maybe 2 p.m. in the afternoon to 4 p.m. and do it. That aside, once again, make sure to remove any distractions. Put your phone away, very important. No social media, no freaking emails, no interruptions. So if you have to hang up the fuck off sign, as I like to call it, whatever it is, make sure that you remove any potential distractions. I want you to be fully focused on this one exercise, because this might be the most important thing that you do for the next year. And lastly, it might be a good idea to get the help of a strong cup of coffee, because that always helps. And again, high-level thinking is waiting for you. Now, before we get started, you might ask the question, why the hell should you even map out your goals? It sounds a bit trivial, of course, but then again, I think Henry Ford's quote here summarizes it quite well, and it is that thinking is the hardest work there is, which is the probable reason why so few actually engage in it. Truth being told, especially entrepreneurs suffer from that. They just execute. Work. But most people never actually take the time to step back, look over their entire life, and make this strategy that they can execute, that they can follow. And that is what I want to tell you here, very specific, what I want to emphasize, and that's the fact that you can just randomly hop into your day, do random stuff, and get random results, or you can make a strategy. You can make a proper plan that you can execute in order to get what you actually want. So again, make sure to do this exercise that I will show you now. That said, before we begin, crucial here, please drop all limitation, please drop all doubts. So I want you to go at this exercise with the thought, if I knew I could not fail, what would I do? If I would succeed at everything I do, what would I do? And I think, again, Steve Jobs' quote here summarizes it very well. And it's the fact that the people who are actually crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. So please, once again, drop all of your limitation and doubts. If I knew I could not fail, what would I do? And another thing I want to point out is that I put an article with everything, with all of the questions that I will show you in a second, in the video description. So simply put, just lean back, relax, enjoy the video, absorb the information, and at the end of the video, what I want you to do is click the link, click the article link, check out the questions, and then do the freaking exercise. Do it and map out your perfect 2022. Strategize and execute. All right, so first and foremost, step number one, I want you to describe your desires. In other words, what the hell do you actually want? What do you desire? And I want you to do this in every single life area. And I want you to do this for work, for your relationships, for your mental and physical state. So how you feel on a given day. I want to do this for your health and fitness. And I want you to do this for your hobbies. Now feel free to add another area here that is important to you, if you have one specifically. But I think those 5 cover the most important things. And with all of these areas, I want you to ask 3 questions. And I want you to ask yourself, what are the things that should be in place? What should be in place for my work? What should be in place for my relationships, etc. Then, of course, what do you want to have? What do you want to do on a daily basis? And maybe there's something you want to share. So in your work, for example, what do you want to do actually? What do you want to have? As a scientist, for example, I want to have a bunch of publications, for example. Obviously. So these things, just think about what you actually want. But then also, what are the people that should be in place? What should be your colleagues like at work, for example? What are the feelings that should be in place? Maybe you want to have, in terms of relationships, you want to have a loving relationship with someone that you want to spend the rest of your life with. Maybe you want to have a harmonic family situation. So what are the feelings that you desire? And of course, what are the places that I want to have? Maybe you want to have your own home gym. So I want that. That would be cool. So for health and fitness purposes, that is. So again, just think about it. Make a list. And what I want you to do now, or after this video, is to grab your pen, grab your notebook, write it down. Just 10 to 15 minutes, just write without thinking about it, just whatever comes to mind. And again, don't worry about it. Creativity normally needs a little bit to keep going. And this is related to dopamine, but without going into detail into it, in the beginning, it's difficult, but once you come up with something, the next thing flows automatically. So good ideas tend to spiral. And once you get it kicked off, once you get over this initial resistance, again, your creativity will just flow and the ideas will just be put down on paper, trust me. Next step will be to think about how long it will take to achieve each outcome. So you have made this nice list. Let's say you want to squat 140 kilograms by whenever. How long does this take? Maybe it takes 6 months. Maybe it takes 1 year. Maybe it takes 5 years. It could even take a decade. But the point here really is to have a mixture of both short-term and long-term goals. Now, if you only have short-term goals, if you only think like 1 month ahead, then you should probably add some longer term goals. So you should look ahead more. You should have more future possibilities. On the other hand, if you only have long-term goals, so you only have those very long goals, let's say you want to earn 1 million in your business, if you only have those long-term goals, you need to think about some steps in between. So what are intermediate steps or goals? Let's say if you want to earn 1 million, then it might be an intermediate step to make 500K, 100K, 50K. So just think back so that you have this nice goal, that you have your goals nicely lined up. Now that you have done that, you have made a list of things that you desire, you thought about how long it approximately takes to accomplish all of these things. I want you to pick the 4 most important goals. And I think this describes quite well this quote here, and that's the fact that some goals are not going to fulfill you, whereas others will. So just ask yourself, what are the 4 goals that you are the most committed about, that you're most excited about? For me, that's the gym and getting strong as fuck, basically. So what would give you the most satisfaction? Think about it and pick the 4 most important goals across life areas. So from your work, from your relationships, etc., all across them, pick 4, the ones that most excite you. And that's also an important thing that I had to learn as well, but it's crucial for high performance. You need to learn to prioritize. You cannot do everything at once, and that's why I want you to pick again only the 4 most important ones and do them well. The next step, number 4, will be to explain why you will achieve your goals. So why will you pull this off? And I think once again another quote for you from life coach Anthony Robbins that summarizes this very well, and that is that our purpose for doing something motivates us much stronger than the object that we pursue. Let's say fitness. You want to get a 6-pack. You might think, yeah, 6-pack sounds good. I just get one. You know, I mean, I got mine as well. I got it in the fridge, in fact. But the point is that this is not really motivating. On the other hand, you could say, I have to do something. I don't want, cardiovascular disease. My parents had it. I don't want to get it. I have to improve my health. I have to get healthy. I have to lose weight. I have to get strong in the gym in order to get my health in check. So that I'm there for my kids, for my family. That is one hell of a purpose in order to get into the gym and get fit. Whereas the other one is just like, 6-pack sounds good. I just get one. Probably not as motivating. And once again, Anthony Robbins puts it very well, and it's the fact that reasons are the difference between being interested in something, yeah, 6-pack sounds good, or versus being committed to accomplish something. I have to do something. I have to improve my health. I have to be there for my family. I have to lose weight. That is motivating. So what I wanted to show you in addition is actually a nice meta-analysis that was from 2016, so it's quite recent. And in this one, they looked at 125 individual studies, and they concluded that goal valence, so how badly do you want to accomplish a goal, is moderately to strongly related to self-efficacy. Now, self-efficacy is the belief that your skills are good enough to pull it off. So you believe that whatever you currently do, your skills are good enough to be successful. And this is very important. I will get back to it later, but once again, self-efficacy is related to success. Makes sense. If you think that you can pull it off, you will be more successful in the future. So once again, more about it later. And that's why this point here is so important. Explain why you will achieve your goals. Again, I want you to have this goal balance. I want you to have this wanting, this feeling of desiring your goals, this feeling of wanting to get it, because that will also improve the belief in your skills, funny enough, as proven by studies. On the other hand, that's important to know also goal definition alone, not related to whether you can pull it off or not related to believing in your skills. And it makes sense. You could say, I want to have the six-pack. Just setting this goal doesn't mean that you believe in your capability to get there. Doesn't mean that you think, all right, I'm strong in the gym. So once again, make sure that you want your goal and that you want it badly, and explain why you will achieve your goals. Get this to improve your self-efficacy. And next, now you have made this nice list. You have defined when you will approximately reach it. You have picked the 4 most important goals out of all of those. That's a big thing. And now I want you to review your top 4 goals. And I want you to review them against these 5 key goal rules. And that is crucial, because if your goals are not set up properly, then again, a bad goal is not a good, bad goal is not going to help you, but a good goal will get you there. So first and foremost, for all of your 4 goals, ask yourself or state the outcome that you desire in positive terms. I don't want you to describe what you don't want to happen. Don't go for avoidance goals. I want you to go for achievement goals. Very important. You could say, I don't want to die from cardiovascular disease. That's not a motivating goal. That's actually, in fact, a bad goal. Instead, I want you to take the other, just turn it around and say, instead of saying, I don't want to die of cardiovascular disease, you can say, I want to be fit, I want to be strong, I want to be healthy, I want to be energized, I want to lose 10 kilograms, I want to be strong as hell in the gym. So please always state the outcome you desire in positive terms. Set an achievement goal and not an avoidance goal. Then next, I want to describe the outcome in detail. Specificity is key. So how would it look like? How would it look like when you accomplish your goals? How would it sound like? Maybe you finish the goal line, the finish line, and you hear people cheering for you. How would it feel like? For example, how would you feel like in the relationship of your dreams? You can even think about how it would smell like. Let's say you celebrate your victory, maybe in a competition, and you go to a restaurant of your choice, and maybe you smell fried chicken or whatever you desire to eat, whatever. Just make sure that you introduce all of those sensory details. Once again, I will get back to specificity in a second, but also very importantly, add a completion date. Because a goal without a date is just a freaking dream. And also from a high performance perspective, one of the easiest ways to improve your performance is to set a hard deadline. I do this all the time, because a deadline, when you know that you have to get stuff done, it releases some norepinephrine in your system, some of the stress hormone, and it will get you going. You will actually do it. You will actually pull it off, and it will beat procrastination. So once again, set a deadline, use deadlines as high performance tools to get yourself going. And you can even go a step further and add some risk to it and say, all right, maybe I pay my friend some money if I don't get it done in time, and you tell this to your friend. I wouldn't announce it publicly, that's a bad idea, but just say to your friend maybe, add a little bit of risk, which is also a flow trigger to get into the state of total absorption. But yeah, add deadlines, use them as high performance tools, and your goals should always have a deadline. Importantly, have an evidence procedure. So when do you know that you have achieved the goal? Because you might actually take action towards your goals, maybe even win, and you don't realize it because you don't have an evidence procedure. And on the other hand, maybe you work towards your goals, maybe you think, oh, I'm making awesome progress, but you don't. You just get stuck. So what I want you to do, or what is very useful in this case, is to have a key performance indicator, a KPI. In other words, I want you to have a number that you can track. For your business, this could be cross 100K by the end of the year. So you know exactly I want to make 100K by the end of this year. I have to make 10,000 per month maybe. So that you have this number, you can track it. Maybe in the gym you want to say I want to score 140 kilograms. So you know exactly that if your weight on the bar goes up, you're on a good way. And you know exactly when you've reached it. So ideally have this key performance indicator, this number. Then of course your goal should be independent of other people and should be in your control. You should be in control of the outcome. For example, let's say you want to have the relationship of your life, hoping that someone changes their personality for you. You know, you have this girl, she doesn't like you, and you're like, I'm pretty sure she will like me eventually. Not gonna work. Don't set goals that are not in your control. Don't set goals that relate to things that you cannot control. For example, changing someone else's personality. Instead of hoping the girl will be with you, you could work on their dating skills. You could work on your flirting skills. And again, do that instead. Go for those achievement goals. Go for things that you have personally in your hands. And the last thing, I want you to specify your outcome. Because once again, vague goals are poor goals. The more specific you are, the more likely you are to know what actions you need to take to get there, and you're more likely to create exactly the outcome that you want, and not somewhat the outcome that you want. So always make sure to be as specific as possible, and that's why we did describe the outcome in detail before. So how does it look like? How does it sound like? How does it smell like? Because the more specific you are, again, the more likely you are to produce exactly this. And lastly, make it desirable for yourself and others. This is absolutely crucial for several reasons. The first thing is that happiness is dependent on 50% your genetics. It's 40% dependent on the activities that you do on a daily basis, and 10% of the life circumstances, whether good things or bad things happen. So again, most of your happiness is dependent on what you do on a daily basis. All right. So what you do every single day matters more for your happiness and fulfillment than any trophy or any accomplishment. All right. So obviously you want to make sure that the outcome that you chase is what you desire. But you need to make sure that you enjoy the activities that get you this outcome. You need to see meaning in the things that you do every single day to get this outcome. Let's say you want to reach 100K in your coaching business by the end of the year. But on the other hand, you hate coaching. You despise talking to other people. In that case, probably not smart to approach this goal by coaching every day. If you do something you hate, probably not going to work out. And once again, happiness is mostly dependent on the activities that you do every single day. So make sure, once again, you set a goal and that the activities that you need to achieve this goal are things that you love, things that get you excited. Maybe you like writing. Or maybe you like do an online course instead if you hate talking to other people, basically, in order to achieve your 100K income goal. But think about it this way. And also, if you love what you do, you will actually get dopamine from doing the activity. Again, you will enjoy it. And if you enjoy the activity and you get dopamine from it, you will get into flow, the state of total absorption. Where you get up in the morning, you sit down, you do work, and you're so absorbed into your work. You love it. You feel fulfilled. Your productivity skyrockets and creativity skyrockets and flow. And the next day you can't wake up. You cannot wait to wake up and do it again. That is the feeling that you want. So once again, make sure this is one of the make sure that all of these goal rules are followed, all of these 5 rules with your 4 goals. Now next, that was a long one, so bear with me, but the next ones will be a bit easier to follow. But next, what you should do is to think about the resources that you already have. So what resources or strengths, I should say, you already have at your disposal to achieve your goals? Maybe you have character traits that are useful. Maybe you're very disciplined. Could be. Maybe you're very confident. Then do you have any skills that are useful? Maybe you're good at programming. Maybe that's useful for your ambitions. What other strengths do you have? Maybe you have financial resources. Maybe you have good friends. Maybe you have someone who is skilled at something you need to achieve your goals. Maybe you have education. Maybe you have an academic degree that could be helpful for you, etc. So think about it and list all your resources. And the reason why you should do this is because we have a natural negativity bias in the brain. What this means is that we like to overlook our own strengths. We like to disregard what we are good at. And most of the time, we don't even acknowledge our strengths. However, the thing is that our strengths are our strongest tools. Let me give you an analogy. Let's say you have a hammer. If you have a hammer, then it makes sense to use this hammer to hammer down a nail, right? But most people, they don't realize their strengths. Instead, they use, let's say, this laptop mouse here to try hammering down the nail. Not very efficient. So use your strengths. Use your hammer. If you have a hammer, again, use it to hammer down the nail. And once again, using your strengths also make sure that you actually enjoy using it. If you're good at something, you will probably enjoy doing this activity. And again, if you enjoy doing an activity, then you will get into flow. And flow is your ticket to extreme productivity and creativity. Then step 7. When did you use your resources with great success? Now you have this nice list. You listed down all of your strengths, all the resources that you have, and now I want you to describe 3 to 5 past events in which you use these resources with great success. And you might think that sounds bothersome, but there's good reason for that, and it goes back to self-efficacy. Now I mentioned self-efficacy, and that is the belief that you're good enough to pull off, or that your belief in your skills is that you believe that your skills are good enough to pull it off. Sorry. So you simply think that you can do this. I got this. So for example, if you think that you're good at flirting, I got this. She's mine. Then of course you will be more likely to succeed. And there's actually a nice meta-analysis from 2018. They looked at all relevant studies between 1984 to 2016, and I found that self-efficacy leads to better performance. Makes sense, right? But this is also the other way around. So it's not only if you think that your flirting skills are good, you're more likely to succeed, but also the other way around. That means that if you are good at flirting, then of course you think that your ability to flirt is better. Makes sense as well. But that's exactly why, as backed by research, I want you to describe why when you use your resource with great success. So describe 3 to 5 past events. Let's say one of your strengths is public speaking. Now I want you to think back, and you might think, all right, I held a speech in front of all of my colleagues at work. Or maybe that was in your academic career. Maybe at the end of your university degree, you held a speech in front of all of the students and you nailed it. And it was amazing. Everyone cheered for you. It was the best speech ever held. Whatever it is. But again, describe it in detail, because by doing that, again, you not only know what you're good at, but you also increase your belief in your skills. You increase your belief in, all right, I'm pretty freaking good at public speaking. And again, if you have proof for it, you need proof, in fact, in order to believe. You cannot believe into something that you don't have proof for. That's very difficult. But if you have written proof that tells you, I'm good at public speaking, then you start to believe it. And when you start to believe that you're good at this, then your performance increases. So once again, do it. Why are you good at the things you listed? Describe 3 to 5 past events. Step number 8. Now, I want you to describe the person that you would have to be to accomplish your goals. This is very important. It goes back to goal setting in general. You have to consider that if you set a goal, then you obviously shoot for something that you don't have. Let's say in your business you want to reach 100K income by the end of the year. That means that you probably make less right now. Makes sense, right? It would be stupid to set a goal to shoot for something that you already have. Doesn't make any sense. And it's the same for your personal development. Obviously, right now you should set a goal for something that you currently are not. I mean, there's no point in setting a goal for becoming the same person you are already. That's not a goal. So again, you want to shoot for something you're not right now. You want to become a person that you're not right now. And in this case, describe who would you have to be? Who is this amazing person that you will be or want to be in a year, etc. And I think once again, this is actually a book quote that I got from Carol Dweck out of Mindset, the New Psychology of Success. And it goes back to a growth mindset. And this is a passage here. And in fact, she had two different children in her little studies. And she noticed that some of the children, 10-year-olds, when they were given problems that were a bit too hard for them, they were shockingly positive. They looked at this hard thing, this hard task, and they said, I love challenges. This is cool. Oh, I was hoping this would be informative. Things like that. So a very positive way of approaching this. And they knew that their abilities could be developed. They knew that they could tackle a challenge, and despite the fact that they're not good enough yet, they can learn it. They can become better. That's the growth mindset that I want you to acquire as well. Because what I say on this channel, what I repeat all over, is my so-called Raven Credo. And it's the fact that I believe that anyone can achieve any goal or any dream by doing a single thing: continuous self-improvement. You don't have to be the person of your dreams now. You don't need to be good enough yet, but you will be, because you have the ability to develop your skills. All right, and that's why I want you to set those great and ambitious goals. That's why I want you to do this freaking exercise. That's why I want you to strategize, because you can get there. Growth mindset. But there were also children that had a fixed mindset. So they thought that intelligence was set. For example, they got an E in maths and they felt bad for it. They felt judged and they felt like they failed and they felt like there's nothing they could do to get better. And I think this summarizes quite well that they were gripped in the tyranny of now. And that would be once again called a fixed mindset. And there's a tremendous difference in whether you think you can better or whether you think you cannot. There's actually a nice brain image on the left down there, and it shows the difference between the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. And it was actually in a study when people were asked to solve a problem. It's actually insane, but people with a fixed mindset who think they cannot get better, their abilities are given, when they were given a problem, their brain didn't even switch on. Their brain activity didn't change. In other words, they were presented with a problem and they didn't even bother to think about it. They didn't even bother to solve the problem. So with such a mindset, you cannot solve problems, basically. And on the other hand, a growth mindset, their brain lit up. They were given a problem and the brain, it went on fire. So they looked at the problem from different angles. They were thinking about, what can I do to overcome this problem? They thought about it. And ultimately, they came up with a solution. And as they came up with a solution, again, their abilities and skills improved. So get that growth mindset and describe the person that you would have to be to accomplish your goals, because you have the ability to grow into this person, and you will grow into this person. Next, step 9. What prevents you from accomplishing your goals? Think about it, because the point is that awareness gives you the power to overcome your limitations. You can actually decide to change things in your life, to address your weak points. Let me give you an example. Do you have bad habits? Maybe you smoke 10 or 20 cigarettes each day, which is probably bad for your health. So again, since you know that, you're aware of it, you can now take action and change your habits. Maybe you fail to plan. Maybe you never do an exercise like this where you strategize, actually set proper goals and a plan to get there. In that case, do it. Do this freaking exercise. Or maybe you're bad at executing your plan. Maybe you're good at strategizing, but you have trouble to stick with it in the long term. In that case, you would have to focus on building up your discipline. And again, you can find ways to do that. Maybe you tackle too many things at once. Maybe you were like, all right, Nick, forget it. I want 10 goals and not 4. That might be too much, because if you work on 10 goals at once, your chance to achieve all of them goes down, because we only have 24 hours a day. So in that case, you might need to learn to prioritize and only pick one thing, do it well, get it done, and then move on to the next thing, etc. So list down what personally prevents you from accomplishing goals, because awareness gives you the power to change it. Next, take your top 4 goals. So you have those 4 amazing goals that you're most committed about, and I want you to go backwards and set stepwise goals to get there. So what are intermediate steps that I personally need to do over the next day, over the next weeks, over the next months to achieve my big goal? And it's also about thinking what need to be accomplished first. Now, let me give you a very simple example. Let's say you want to build the house of your dreams. In order to build the house of your dreams, you probably need to hire a craftsman to build the house for you. But before that, you need money. You need money to pay the craftsman, and you need money to buy the materials. So, earning money. But before that, you might need to make a financial plan. The financial plan, again, how do I even pay this off? And this might require some research. Then you need to go another step back and think about, all right, I have the financial plan. What resources and materials do you even need to buy? How would my house actually look like? So you need a blueprint at this stage. But in order to make the blueprint, you have to think about construction and design. So in order to do that, you might go a step back and you think like, all right, to learn about construction and design, how to design a proper home, I could attend a course. Or alternatively, I could consult an architect. But then you need to go another step back and you might think, all right, I consulted the architect, but in order to talk to him, I should probably know what the hell my house should look like. What qualities does my dream house what qualities should my dream house have? Maybe you want to have your own personal gym, which I want. That would be cool. Maybe you want to have a nice big kitchen. Maybe you want to have a swimming pool. So these are things that you need to brainstorm first, etc. And just work back until you have a list of all of the steps that you need to accomplish your goal. So you strategize backwards. And once you have that, you can execute forward. All right. On step number 11, would then to find extremely successful individuals or people you idolize so that you can remodel them. Now, why should you bother? Because having a mentor or having someone you can follow will accelerate your success, because you already know that if you do what they did, you're likely to succeed. They did something, they followed a path that's proven to lead to success. And if you follow this path as well, if you remodel these people, you're likely to get there as well. So this is time efficient, in other words, and it speeds up things a little bit. However, despite that, you should obviously still do trial and error. So you should always optimize along the way. But if you already have a good plan, if you have a good baseline, a good blueprint that you can follow, it will massively accelerate your success. If you know what to do, then of course you get a kickstart in the beginning. So just look back. What are 3 to 5 people that are extremely successful and that have what I want, that have accomplished what exactly I want to have? And then think about what one piece of advice would each of these people give you. If you want to, it could be anything basically. Let's say you want to hit the 140 kilogram squat in the gym and you see a powerlifter who squats 250 kilograms. What one piece of advice would this person give me so that I make more progress in the gym? Think about it. And again, you can also follow the diet. You could follow the routine of, maybe not the routine necessarily, but you could think about what they did when they were at your stage to make progress. Once again, you can copy it and that will be your ticket to success. And finally, we got it, guys. So thank you for sticking with me. Just to think about what your perfect day from now on would actually look like. Because if you never define it, If you don't even know what your perfect day would look like, then you're unlikely to produce it. But if you know what your day should look like, if you know exactly what components you want to have in your perfect day, you can actually have your perfect day a lot more often, a lot more frequently. And again, happiness is 40% what you do on a daily basis. So you want to make sure that you have this perfect day more often. So think about it. How would your perfect day begin? What would your morning routine look like? What would your workday look like? Where would you go? What people would be involved? Maybe you have your colleagues in work. Maybe at the end of the day you have your family around you. Maybe you have a sort period in the evening in which you enjoy yourself, in which you do your hobbies, for example. Also, what would your environment look like? What would your desk look like at work? What tools would you have? How would you spend your evening? What people, again, would be there with you? How would you feel at the end of the day? Very important as well. Ideally, you want, for example, you want to feel satisfied at the end of the day. You want to feel comfortable. You want to feel relaxed, maybe. And during the day, you want to be fulfilled. You want to have the feeling of meaning while you are at work. So think about that as well. And once again, once you have all of this defined, once you have your perfect day written down, you're ready to go. You know what your perfect day looks like. You have your goals set. You have a strategy that you can follow to accomplish your goals. And with this, you will be set up to make 2022 the best day of your life. And that concludes the video. So as always, thank you for your time and attention. And now that you know what to do, I highly encourage you to reserve 1 to 2 hours on the weekend to grab that strong cup of coffee and to strategize your perfect 2022. And let me make this clear, knowing how to plan and strategize the ideal year is great. It always is. But it's useless unless you actually do it. So please do it. Use what you've learned to plan your 2022. Also, of course, feel free to rewatch the video, and I will, of course, link you an article that explains everything that you need to do step by step in the video description. So make sure to check that out. And lastly, if you desire more and if you want to reach the next level, feel free to send me an email at niklas.p.reich@gmail.com to work with me. I coach for finding your passion and purpose, adopting empowering beliefs, optimizing your routine with time and task management skills, improving your health and brain health with neuroscience principles, and of course, I coach for the ability to enter flow, which is this brain state of total absorption, peak performance, and deep fulfillment. That said, make sure to map out your ultimate 2022, and I will see you in the next video.